I'm going to call the September 18, 2024 Williamsburg Planning Commission meeting to order. Heather, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Bowe?
Present.
Mr. Hamilton? Mr. Tarley?
Here.
Mr. Boswell?
Here.
Mr. Granger?
Here.
Ms. Liebel?
Here.
Mr. Phillips?
Here.
All right, thank you. As matters of special privilege, I want to extend my welcome to Ms. Bowe, since I missed your first meeting back in July, and I want to also thank Mr. Tarley for so skillfully chairing that meeting in July. And that brings us to the approval of minutes for that meeting from July. Does anyone have any changes, edits to the minutes that are posted? Hearing none, I will ask if there is a motion to approve the July 17, 2024 minutes as submitted.
So moved.
I second.
Ms. Bowe?
Aye.
Mr. Tarley?
Aye.
Mr. Boswell?
Abstain.
Mr. Granger?
Aye.
Ms. Liebel?
Aye.
Mr. Phillips?
Aye.
Thank you. That brings us to our open forum. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the commission on matters that are not separately listed on the agenda under public hearings. So I'll open that public forum now, and getting no response from anyone in the audience, I'm going to go ahead and close that open forum. We don't have any consent agenda items. We have 3 public hearings, all requests of the City of Williamsburg. And Ms. Griffin, you're going to tell us about the first one, PCR 24-023.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon, Chairman Boswell and members of the Planning Commission. The city is requesting an amendment to Chapter 21. It's Article 9, Section 21-857. It's the appeal section. We would like to amend this section to provide a stay of the approval of any demolition or building permit of a historic landmark, building, or structure until 30 days after the final decision of the governing body. This is coming to you because of the Virginia Assembly HB 1395 that was recently approved with their 2024 session. We pretty much have this in place now. It's a policy that we follow, but this is codifying it. If the ARB makes a decision and someone is aggrieved by that decision, they have 30 days to appeal. Persons can also appeal that decision. If it is appealed, it then goes to the city council. After the decision of the city council, they then have 30 days to appeal. And this just says that the city will not demolish a building or approve a building permit within those 30 days. So again, this is something we already do, but this just codifies it. And so we're asking for approval of this amendment. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Questions for Ms. Griffin? None? Okay, we will open the public forum for that officially. And since we have no takers on the public forum, I will go ahead and close that. Is there any discussion? Anyone? If not, I will ask, is there a motion to recommend approval of PCR 24-023?
I move that we approve PCR 24-023. Second.
Ms. Bowe?
Aye.
Mr. Tarley?
Aye.
Mr. Boswell?
Aye.
Mr. Granger?
Aye.
Ms. Liebel?
Aye.
Mr. Phillips?
Aye.
All right, thank you. That takes us to PCR 24-024. The General Assembly is keeping us busy on this one. Ms. Griffin.
Yes, this too is coming up to us from the General Assembly at their 2024 regular session. HB 1461 was passed, which prohibited localities from limiting short-term rentals to transient visitors solely on the basis that the operator is a leasee or subleasee. We are fortunate to have short-term rental regulations already in our ordinance in place, and so we are able to move forward with those. The one thing that the General Assembly said that we should include is this portion here. Right now, short-term rentals are only allowed for those persons who own their property, are property owners and actually stay in the property. There is also a caveat that's provided if they give us documentation of an owner, of an operator being there. And this particular amendment would require us to open this up for those who are leasing a single-family detached home and also subleasing. And so we're asking you to approve this because the General Assembly has passed this down to us. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All right.
I also will say this, I do have asked Heather Markle to come. Heather Markle is our zoning administrator, and she knows a lot more about short-term rentals here in the city. She's been working here for 6 years, and so I've asked her to come in case you have any specific questions about short-term rentals now. I will say that currently the BZA has approved 4 short-term rentals. Only 1 is active at this time, and 1 was denied, and this is since 2019. If you have any more specific questions, Heather Markle's here and happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Questions for Ms. Griffin or Ms. Markle? Hearing none, I will go ahead and open the public forum for that. Since we have to open the public forum, nobody is here to speak, so I will close the public forum and ask, is there any discussion? Okay, if not, I will ask, is there a motion to recommend approval of PCR 24-024?
I move we approve PCR 24-024.
Second.
Ms. Bowe?
Aye.
Mr. Tarley?
Aye.
Mr. Boswell?
Aye.
Mr. Granger?
Aye.
Ms. Liebel?
Aye.
Mr. Phillips?
Aye.
All right, thank you, and that takes us to PCR 24-027. And Ms. Griffin, you're getting some exercise today.
Should have taken my heels off, put on my sneakers. But this is also a request from the city to amend a section of our sign ordinance. It's Chapter 21, Article 6, Sections 21-736.2 and 21-748. This is to add a new category of signage for municipal-owned buildings in all sign districts and to increase the size of insignia signs. Currently, you may see our fire station sign that's out there. We consider that a porch sign. That is actually not a sign that's in our ordinance. We want to add that with the anticipation of the police station being built. Looking at those designs now, it will be the same type of sign. So signs of that nature, we are categorizing as porch signs. We're saying that it should be no more than 32 square feet. The height of the letter should be no more than 12 inches. And we're also asking to be able to have the city seal at 40 square feet. Right now, it's allowed at 32 square feet. Again, we're anticipating that will be the signage that will be allowed at the police station. This does open it up for other city-owned buildings. And looking at that, we have 10 buildings that we own, more that we maintain, but it's municipal building, Stryker Center, police station, fire station, our public works shops, and also the train station, the parking terraces. We don't anticipate any new signs going in those areas. I will say that any new sign would have to go before the Architectural Review Board, just as the sign that you have on the municipal building did, and also the fire station. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Questions about the sign proposal?
I'm going to ask a question or two, if I may. Did you refer to them as porch signs?
Yes, we're referring to them as porch signs, and we do give a definition of that. Don't have that memorized, so let me pull that up for you. One minute. It's in our definition section. Porch sign means a sign that is mounted to the roof of a permanent structure, front porch, veranda, portico, rain guard, or other covered vestibule, in which sign projects vertically above the front edge of the roof structure and consists of metal freestanding lettering.
Okay, thank you. If a private business wanted a porch sign of comparable size, could they accomplish that, or is it only allowed on municipal-owned buildings?
Only allowed on municipal-owned buildings.
And ballpark-wise, what would you say the percentage size difference is going to be between what a municipal building can have on their sign versus a private business?
A private business would not be able to have a porch sign or a roof sign. The signs that are along Richmond Road now, the square footage, depending on the location and how far back from Richmond Road, is either 40 square feet or 60 square feet.
Okay.
Excuse me, any other questions? Okay, thank you. I'll open, open the public forum. No speakers. I'll close the public forum. Is there any discussion from the commission? Nope. I will ask then, is there a motion to recommend approval of PCR 24-027?
I'll move that we approve PCR 24-027.
Second.
Ms. Bo,
Aye.
Mr. Tarley,
Aye.
Mr. Boswell,
Aye.
Mr. Granger,
No?
Ms. Liebel,
Aye.
Mr. Phillips.
Aye. All right, thank you. That takes us through site plans. We have no unfinished business or new business, but under information items, we haven't had commission reports today, so since we're still well under Mr. Tarley's record set at the last meeting of 38 minutes, I will ask what are the updates from Mr. Tarley's representing us on the EDA.
This past, last week at the EDA meeting, we took a field trip to the Rochambeau Motel to see the status of that. And they're still hoping that to open in October. Very ambitious because they're a little bit behind because of permitting issues. But it's a very, Lau Chavone, who is the project manager and managing partner for the company that owns it, is very excited about the project. The rooms are being renovated, each one of them, vaulted ceilings, and it's going to be the first, pretty much the first building on the entranceway to Capitol Landing Road. So it's pretty exciting to see that structure renovated. So I would imagine the next couple of months we'll be seeing some activity there.
Okay, super, thank you. Ms. Liebel, as our representative on the ARB, can you give us an update on how the new guidelines that we all worked so hard on are working out?
Okay, so the new guidelines have, at least for the members of the ARB, have made the process a bit easier than it used to be. Because we have this new designation of contributing and non-contributing structures, it helps delineate which buildings we can use more latitude on alternate materials. We also have, the city has secured education and outreach grants to help educate the public, and Heather will attest the number of applicants who, and it might be a specious claim that they didn't know that they needed to apply for architectural review for their properties. These outreach grants will help educate the public about what the districts are. They'll be able to go online and look up by putting in their address whether their house is in a district or not, whether it's contributing or non-contributing. And of course, if you haven't looked at the guidelines online the way they are now, they are completely searchable. So if someone wants to know about windows in their particular architectural preservation district, it's quite simple to get right to the Windows section, as opposed to when you were on the board and we were flipping through the pages trying to figure out where is it. So we're looking forward to improving the education of the public and hopefully simplify the process as people come through, and they will not be able to say, I didn't know that. Well, maybe they can still say that.
Okay.
Can I piggyback on her report?
Please.
I have come to understand that the city now sends out postcards to notify people who have purchased a property saying you're in a architectural protection zone. And I think that's really an excellent thing to do. So people should be put on notice when they buy something.
That is true, because realtors are not obligated to tell them about our preservation rules. And I have encountered people who are realtors who say they don't tell people that on purpose. So.
Right. Thank you both. The goal of the guidelines, the new guidelines, was to make Williamsburg a better place to live and work and do business, and it sounds like we're making progress there. The last thing you'll notice on the agenda, we don't have any public hearings scheduled for October 16th. There is at least, the deadline to get an application in is the 23rd, I believe, and there's one that might come in. So please don't give that date away yet. And I've asked staff if they would notify us after the deadline is passed, so we find out whether or not we will actually have a meeting on the 16th. Okay. Anything else that we need to talk about today? Okay, thank you all. We're adjourned.